Very good. Well, for those of you that don't know, my name is Roy Jones, and I'm the Chief Development Officer here at Eckert Connects. And Eckert Connects is a national nonprofit. We trade in 20 states, coast to coast. We help more than 50,000 people in these 20 states, 166 unique programs. So we truly are a national program in scope. What we try to do in our Wednesday lunch and learns is kind of instead of flying at 40,000 feet, actually zoom down and get right into one of our specific programs to tell you about it. And I am excited today to introduce Dr. Sir Green. I had the wonderful opportunity to spend a day with Dr. Green about a month ago, or actually a couple of months ago. And he's just a tremendous asset to Eckert Connects. Dr. Green serves as our operations director for the Denver Workforce Services, powered by Eckert Connects. He's responsible for overseeing Denver's adult WIOA programs and discretionary grants. And prior to working with Eckert Connects, Dr. Green served as the deputy director at ResCare Workforce Services in Denver, of course. He was instrumental in bringing the first North Star digital literacy certification program, which helped many job seekers receive their certifications in basic digital literacy skills. His journey in becoming a workforce development practitioner started with a temporary position himself. That's where many of our workforce people start, as an administrative assistant, then with Denver Workforce Services Summer Youth Employment Program. And that was way back in 2012. Dr. Green is passionate about job seekers having equitable access to services from our workforce centers that advances economic prosperity in the communities they serve. Dr. Green has a Bachelor of Arts degree in communication from the University of Georgia. He received an MBA with a focus on operational management, and then went on to get his doctorate degree with distinction from Capella University. His dissertation was entitled Beyond Job Readiness Norms for Mature Job Seekers, Professional Development Training. Dr. Green has also received several postgraduate certificates in leadership and accountability. Dr. Green, thank you for joining us today. We are so excited that you're with us and excited to introduce you to some of our supporters around the country.
Roy, thank you so much. I am really, truly humbled and excited to be here. This is an amazing opportunity to present Denver to the family of Eckert and to all of our partners. So thank you so much. I was kind of joking a little bit with Roy before we kind of began. I thought you had to be invited, and so I didn't realize it was a volunteer. So I would have definitely came on a long time ago. But just thank you so much again for allowing me to talk about Denver Workforce Services.
Our team here in Clearwater often refer to my invitations as being voluntold, and so,
okay.
You've been voluntold today, sir.
Thank you so much. So as Roy mentioned, I do have some exciting things that I do want to talk about Denver. I do have just kind of a brief PowerPoint presentation to kind of go over some things with regards to providing access, the access that we provide to our job seekers in Denver, but also looking at how we serve our job seekers. And as you know, I'm very passionate about making sure that all of our job seekers, again, have equal access to the services that we do offer through Eckert Connects, and really Denver Workforce Services powered by Eckert Connects. So let me go ahead and begin to share that PowerPoint presentation with you. Again, this is a very brief highlight of the different services that we do offer. Moment. There we go. So again, my name is Sir Green. Again, I'm the operations director for Denver Workforce Services. I actually oversee 3 operations within kind of my projects or operations that I serve. So one of those, of course, is Denver Workforce Services, but I also oversee the Arapahoe Douglas Works project as well too. That operation actually focuses on 2 discretionary grants that we do have there. Those grants are focused on job seekers who have been impacted by COVID-19. And then also I oversee an operation within Workforce Centers of Kansas. That is a one-stop operation where that operation is really connecting our mandated and non-mandated partners together to work. So we actually have a little, a little mission that we do have within our 3 operations. We want to make sure that no one is really siloed within our 3 operations, and that we try to bring those together really up under one mission, up under that umbrella. And that is to inspire economic prosperity in the communities that we serve. If we don't do anything else, we certainly should be able to do this with regards to the job seekers, again, in our communities. These are these folks, Beverly, Lindsay, and Tisha. These are our area managers and site managers that actually oversee those programs up under me. So I just wanted to, again, highlight these 3 operations. Really a great team of folks that I'm able to work with and partner with, and again, to provide all these great services between 2 different states. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this as far as our core goals. Now, this was developed by our funder within Denver Workforce Services, but it is truly in alignment in terms of what we do as a one-stop operation within Denver itself. So Denver Workforce Services assist employers to hire, train, and retain quality workforce while providing job seekers the ability to access, explore, prepare, learn, and connect to employment, training, and workforce development opportunities. We actually, our funder actually produces a workforce services report, somewhat biannually with regards to this report. And I'm just really excited to really talk about the different things that we do within the Denver Workforce Services operation. So we actually have 3 different locations that we service our job seekers. And if you include hybrid, that would be a 4th one as well too, online. Sometimes we fail to mention that, but that is another way that we also service our job seekers with regards to location. We have our West Side location, our Montbello location, and also a location at the airport as well too. Most workforce centers do not have a location at the airport, so this is actually fairly unique. I think we're one of maybe 5 in the entire United States that actually has a workforce center there. Currently, right now, we're actually just operating out of our Montbello location, and of course online as well too. Our other 2 locations are actually going through construction work, so we have consolidated a lot of our teams actually at Montbello, and again, they're working more of a hybrid schedule. So a little bit about Denver Workforce Services. Again, we are the one-stop operator for Denver Workforce Services, powered by ECHR Connects. We do the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act Adult and Dislocated Worker Program. Again, serving everything with regards to from ages 18 all the way up through whatever age. We do training. We also do work-based learning opportunities, which includes OJTs and registered apprenticeships. We provide supportive services. We do intensive job searching, just all kinds of different cool things up under that particular grant. But we also do RECIA, and for some of you who may not be exactly familiar with what RECIA is, it's really a program where those folks who are receiving unemployment benefits, well, they're mandated to participate with the workforce centers, and we service those folks and help them with a job search plan, and also get them connected to our WA dislocated worker program as well, and other services.
Sir,
Yes.
I got to ask you. I'm a newbie, and we're probably going to have some supporters on the call today that are as well. Help us with what RECIA stands for.
I knew you
just get close.
I'm going to get close, but it's Reemployment Services something program. Reemployment Services. That's really what you just really need to know. Reemployment Services, and pretty much every state has something like this within the state. It may not necessarily be called RECIA, but every state has something like this where the counties are responsible for implementing to service dislocated workers who are receiving unemployment benefits. Okay, so the other 2 grants that we do have, and they're kind of very similar, is the Recover CO grant and the Co-Response grant. As you know, that a lot of job seekers and really folks were impacted by the pandemic of COVID-19. And so the federal government, which transitioned on down to the states, decided to come up with several different grants to help those job seekers that have been impacted. And we were very fortunate to receive these particular 2 grants, these national disaster grants. Now, the difference between the Recovers Grant and the Co-Response Grant is that the Recovers Grant really allows us to expand additional funding for those folks, again, impacted by COVID in the areas of training assistance, OJT opportunities, supportive services. So it allows us to leverage and expand funding for those particular participants. The co-response grant is a slightly little bit different. Same premise with regards to serving folks who've been impacted by COVID-19, but this is designed for temporary employment positions. So it's not designed for permanent employment, but only for temporary employment positions. We're able to service job seekers. Really cool story. I just want to take a pause right there about the co-response grant. Generally speaking, we usually do a lot of outreach to employers with regards to just getting folks connected to employment, right? But there's a hidden gem within community-based organizations in itself. And we were able to partner with an organization called Bayard Industries to help us right now we have 11 folks that we've actually placed into those COVID response positions through that particular grant. We're actually going to be doing another 15 more from Denver and also Arapahoe Douglas Works to place people in these positions through Bayard Industries. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Bayard. I know they may not be on the call, but hey, this is going to be published out there. So just want to put that out there. Work Now is a partnership that we have with the Community College of Denver to really support folks who are in construction career pathways. So the exciting thing about that is that we actually have a full-time navigator that actually supports this particular grant, again, to get those folks into those construction career pathways. And most people think of construction careers as far as just, going out there doing the heavy equipment operations, but there's so many behind the scene things that come with construction, such as administrative assistance positions. There's IT that's behind it. There's all kinds of different career pathways that you can take within construction. Tech P 2.0. Well, if there's a Tech P 2.0, there must have been a Tech P 1.0, right? So the Tech P grant, it's a 4-year grant, $7 million grant that I'm super excited about because this allows us to connect people to entry-level, mid-level, and advanced level IT career pathways and skills and development training. We have a consortium of different workforce partners that are actually partnered within this Tech P grant. Of course, Eckerd Connects is one of those, but then we also have other counties that are partnered within this grant. So really exciting grant. I'm going to talk about the Denver Workforce Integration Network here a little bit later on in the presentation, only because I want to show you how you can really maximize communication and also just really collaboration with one-stop partners, especially if you have mandated partners and non-mandated partners that you're working with. I want to show you something cool that we've decided to utilize from Eckerd, who provided it to us, and all of us within Eckerd have access to this to maximize that communication. Last thing I want to talk about is really the Disability Program Navigator Grant. This is really a exciting grant that we actually help Denver Workforce Services to write. So there was really an RFP that was put out by the state of Colorado. And again, as I mentioned, Eckerd Connects actually helped our funder write the narrative for the DPN grant. So as a result of that, we are a recipient of that grant. This grant is a collaborative working agreement between the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation and Workforce Development Program. So one of the goals really out of this grant is really to create a win-win situation for the local workforce areas. So for DVR, disability communities, and also for our local workforce centers as well. Some of the goals that I really like about this grant that we're going to be putting in place is that, number one, to increase co-enrollments between WA and DVR programs. That has always been a challenge. Really not even, I would say for a lot of different one-stop operations, that's been a challenge between WA and DVR programs, increasing those co-enrollments. Align WA and DVR programs as well too. There's been some misalignment. I've been doing workforce services for a really long time, and I still haven't got a grasp on some of the different things with regards to alignment between WA and DVR programs. But nevertheless, here we are, and this grant will allow us to really participate a little bit more collaborative with DVR. But also with this grant, decrease duplicative services as well too. It doesn't make sense if DVR is doing regular job readiness services and we're doing job readiness services. Can one of us just do those? Can one of us just be the employment arm of those folks getting services? So, like I said, decreasing those duplicative services, but also improving employment opportunities for people with disabilities. Very recently, I'm sorry to focus on this a little bit because this is kind of a little bit of a passion of mine to a degree.
I know it's a passion of yours.
It's a passion of mine. Very recently, I just want to mention this, that we actually had a participant who came to the work, who was referred to the workforce center, to Denver Workforce Services, because they could not get service by another county. That particular county did not have the resources to service a person who was visually impaired. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hearing impaired. Excuse me. Hearing impaired. They did not have the service to actually really do that. So they referred them to us to actually service this person. So as a result of this particular individual, this is kind of a success story. They are actually working with our DPN navigator. We actually have a full-time person who actually works with folks who have disabilities. So they're working with him to get enrolled into WA services, but also to get employment as well too. So like I said, that is a major passion of mine when it comes to servicing folks with disabilities. As a matter of fact, don't forget, next month is Disability Awareness Month. So I want to put that out there as well too.
Very good.
Service delivery model. Now, this is something this was actually created by Eckert. And I don't know if most operations actually have this particular service delivery model, but this is a service delivery model that was actually created by Eckert. We kind of tweaked it a little bit to make it more catered to really of our project. But when folks ask you about, or when your partners or when your funders are asking, well, what is your service delivery model? You should be able to explain that, of what that looks like, even from a visual standpoint. So really, we have our career services, our training services. People go from either one of those or both of those right into job placements, and then right into follow-up when it comes to WA services. Another part of our metric that we incorporate with our service delivery model is we also do a customer satisfaction survey. It is totally anonymous. It is voluntary. It's something that we do encourage our job seekers to do because we value feedback. We want to make sure that we are doing things the right way, and we also want to look for areas where we can improve upon. So far, we actually have a 5-star satisfaction customer service survey that we send out to our job seekers. We may send it out to our employers, really anyone that we are partnering with and providing services for. So I'm really proud to say that out of 5 stars, we actually have a 4.64 customer satisfaction results out of that. So this is really exciting to show, but just want to show you this because, again, this is something, again, that is provided by Eckert. And thank you so much for providing it as well.
Sir, take just a minute and talk to me.
Sure.
You know, in addition of the hands-on training, the job readiness training, soft skill training on just how to interview, how to fill out a job application, how to create a resume. In addition to the kind of learning, it's really not classroom. You're doing a lot of it digitally these days in virtual meetings just like this. But talk to me about some of the financial benefits. I know that you have mentorship and paid positions that are client services. And talk to me about backfeed, but talk to me about as well what benefits there are to the employers for hiring some of the people through your program.
Absolutely. If I can hear you correctly, I'm sorry, but I think some things got cut off, but I think I kind of get the gist of it, Roy. So some of the financial benefits really to our job seekers and also to our employers as well too. One of the exciting things about this is that we do under our work-based learning model is that our job seekers and employers are able to participate in on-the-job training opportunities under the WA either adult or dislocated grant. We offer a 50% wage reimbursement back to our employers. But then up to $6,000. We've actually increased that. It used to be $5,000, now it's up to $6,000. reimbursement back to our employers. So the exciting thing about this is that our employers are able to, again, receive some kind of subsidy back. But then there was a time when, and we're kind of still dealing with this right now, is where some employers were really unsure about if they were in a position to actually hire job seekers based upon the pandemic. Not to mention, coupled with that, within the city and kind of Denver, we actually have a higher minimum wage than what the state has as well too. So you have all these things that are put together, and again, it begs the question that, hey, am I able to afford to hire this one particular employee? Because as we all know, training one employee can be very expensive. And so we've put this in place where our employers can really take advantage of this $6,000 subsidy. As a result of this, what does this do for the the job seeker? One, it gets them either full-time employment, and in most cases with benefits as well too. Not to mention, it takes some of the risk off of the employer as far as that financial risk. It puts it back really with the workforce centers to help subsidize position. Not to mention, the employer also gets the job seeker along with the employer. Well, they get access to one of our career coaches. Our career coaches encourages and works with the job seeker to make sure that they're on track and doing the kind of things that they need to do in terms of making them successful in the job. Our employers and also our job seekers have access to different additional trainings that we do offer through virtual job shadow and also through EBSCO learning skills as well too. They also have access to digital literacy learning skills as well too. So these are all the different things. When we talk about presenting a package to our employers, it's more than just $6,000 plus benefits. They're getting all these additional services with this one job seeker to help make them successful.
Wow, thanks for taking the time to explain that. It's unique, and it is something that a lot of companies just aren't aware of. And like you said, they falsely assume that they're going to have to shoulder all of this on their own, and can be a big risk to them. So the types of things you're doing certainly help to minimize some of those and incentivize them to get involved. So if you're a company out there, this is not about Roy Jones, the big bald guy, coming and twisting your arm, asking you for a check as the chief development officer here. This is about Dr. Sir Green reaching out to you, helping you, actually helping you with a gift, and as well as a very gifted, talented potential employee that we've helped train. So please get involved in Sir's program. Sorry to interrupt, sir. It's so exciting to me when I think about businesses that are aligned with Eckerd Connects nationally, and those in your community specifically. So it's just such a powerful concept.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And then one of the things I want to mention real quickly, even with although we have that the response grant that provides temporary employment, imagine us. So with the temporary employment positions that we do have, we actually reimburse 100% of the wages back. Can you imagine that? And then on top of that, if you decide to say, hey, you know what, even though this person is a temporary employee and we would like to, we have that temporary employment with them, but we would like to take them on as a full-time person, we can support that by doing an OJT right behind that. So not only you've gotten 100% of the wages reimbursed for up to $10,000, but we also can provide another 6 on that with the OJT opportunities. So there's all kind of creative financial ways that we can help employers and also help our job seekers as well. Just real quick, I just want to go over just some metrics. And this is really from our PY 2021 end of the year. Our program year runs really from July 1st through the end of June every year. So July 1st through the end of June 30th, that is our program year. But I wanted to show you really some of our metrics that we have with regards to enrollments. As I mentioned before, that our goal was to serve 238 AD enrollments. We did 148. DW enrollments, we did 140. Goal was to serve 140. We did 157. And the Recover CR enrollments, goal was to serve 49. We actually did 93. So overall, we actually served 543 job seekers with approximately 7 to 8 case managers at any given time. if you think about that, is pretty huge. These are folks who are actually who are currently in the caseload, but also who may be in follow-up as well too. And what I mean by follow-up for some of the donors, what that means is that if a person may have exited out of the WA program to employment, we actually place them into follow-up for about a year to still provide them some level of service during that time period. So we still keep them for about a year, even after exit of employment. So I just want to show you this, that we serve 543 individuals. That is just phenomenal in terms of what we have done really here in Denver. So I just wanted to put that out there.
I know when I was out there, sir, we were kind of going through some of the numbers and just talking about the impact that COVID had on your program, even during the pandemic and the peak of the pandemic, the worst times. I want to say you told me you employed over 400 people in your community.
That's correct, we did. And that's across the board between our dislocated workers, adult workers, and also we, at one point in time, we were also helping folks on TANF receive employment as well too. I mean, why not? We're the you know, that's what we do. That's our gift in terms of helping people get employed. So why not partner with the workforce centers for that to make that happen? But yes, we've helped so many people get employment with regards to this. So thank you for mentioning that.
Just to say how exciting that is. I mean, man, when you put that in context of how much, I mean, those 400 plus people that now have jobs, they're off for the most part the welfare rolls. They're contributing taxpayers in the community. To go from being a total cost center to contributing and truly beginning to break the cycle of poverty and put people on their feet back to work in the way in which you do it, that provides them so much dignity and confidence in changing their lives. It's just so exciting to me. Thank you for what you do, sir.
No problem. And real quickly, I also want to mention that although we are contracted to do the WA and other discretionary grants, does that mean, you know, is that only the limit of our help? The answer is no. We actually help. So that 400 number includes folks who are not in program-related activities. In other words, they were not in WA, they're not in discretionary grants. It's just that we're really passionate about getting people to employment, you know, when it comes to our job seekers. So that 400 includes everything across the board between our discretionary grants. It includes, of course, WA adult, but it also include our Wagner Pizer customers that we have, TANF customers we have, Employment First customers. Anybody who's looking to get a job, we're willing to help them, regardless if we get paid for it or not. So that's the kind of passion that we have. I also want to mention some other data topics. EBSCO learning skills. I'm not going to talk about every single thing that's really on here, but I do want to mention EBSCO learning skills is a really exciting platform that ECHRT has really provided to our job seekers. We've served about, we were able to place about 314 people into EBSCO learning skills. Actually on track this year. I think we may be able to double that this program year. Just got actually an email from EBSCO, one of the folks from EBSCO Learning. They said, wow, can't believe the number of people who actually got enrolled over the last 2 months. Is there anything we can do to help you with other things that you're doing? So EBSCO Learning Skills provides so many different things with regards to just looking at testing for high-set testing, GED skills preparation, everything related to, even there's some digital literacy things that are on there, just all kinds of neat skills that are located in there. Even actually, I saw something on there with regards to, I believe it was for a cosmetology testing as well too. So just all kinds of different things. Virtual Job Shadow, that is a unique platform that's provided by the state. We were able to place 560 folks in our Virtual Job Shadow platform. Virtual Job Shadow has really served as our one-stop of all things with regards to platform when it comes to services. So for example, you know, a lot of our job seekers are required to be connected with Connecting Colorado. Then they got to sign up for EBSCO Learning Skills. Then they got to sign up for this and sign up for that and sign up for this. They got 10 different platforms they have to sign up for. And yet they, you know, and even for me, that could be difficult to try to just process 10 different places I have to go to get some kind of virtual service. So Virtual Job Service serves as our virtual one-stop platform for all of those different services. I've even put in EBSCO Learning Skills as attached with that as well too. So really, really what happens is that when our job seekers click into Virtual Job Shadow, they're able to click on upskill learning skills, connecting Colorado, hiring events, all kinds of different things that are outlined and laid out for them to utilize. Other things I really want to focus on as well too is really our priority of service population. Denver Workforce Services, we are really proud to show that we're really proud to showcase that the money that is provided to us from WA is going to really to those folks who need it the most. Those really the priority of service population, those folks who are single parent mothers, those folks who have a disability, those folks who have been incarcerated, 55 and older job seekers, those priority of population, that's where the money is going to. So I'm really excited to see that where the money is spent is where it should be spent with regards to serving those statutory populations and governance populations as well too.
Sir, let me kind of spin off that real quick. Talk to me about, I mean, diversity and inclusion is a big deal here at Eckerd Connects, and I know it is to you as well. Talk to me about those populations and people of color served in your program.
Absolutely. So we have a, let me just start by saying this. We actually, it kind of, when you talk about diversity, it starts with the team, okay? It's one thing to talk about diversity and how you want to serve people, but you don't have a diverse team at the same time. So let me just break down a couple of things even with our team. We have 9 women on our team and 7 men. So 16 from the Denver, from the Denver team itself. We have a person who speaks French. We have 2 or 3 people that speak Spanish. We have a person who is ASL. We also have multiple nationalities on our team, folks who are Asian, South African, German, Colombian, etc. So when you talk about serving folks who are, when you talk about having a diverse and inclusive, and being that way, you also need to have somewhat of a team that makes up that as well too. So because when it comes to that, it has to be intentional. And so with that being said, we've actually served 156 folks who have disabilities. And I mentioned that before. I talked about disabilities. That is a number of people that we have served on our team.
That's almost 25%.
Yes, right. And services doesn't necessarily mean enrollment. It could be anything from
Right.
helping someone to finding a job. It could be resume assistance, interview assistance, whatever that may be. And so I just want to mention out there, as far as our other populations, as far as, again, having an inclusive workforce system, we've actually done some intentional work about finding minority partners who are providing training opportunities through to our communities. We actually just very recently highlighted actually 2 minority type of training IT providers. One was led by a female, and the other was a Black male as well too. When it comes to those training providers, they're providing IT training in the areas of CompTIA. So there's a lot of different things that we're actually doing to serve different populations. Also, we're in partnership with our in-school youth as well too when it comes to the Denver public school system. Again, serving the Hispanic and Latino communities, African American communities as well too. So again, everything, like I said, when I say partnerships have to be intentional, they have to be intentional. Let's see here. Last but not least, I want to talk about our Denver Workforce Integration Network. And this is kind of like the highlight of what I really, everything is a highlight, let me just say that. But this is kind of like the ultimate highlight I really wanted to talk about with regards to serving, being a partner, one who's inclusive, but also a partner that is intentional about making sure that you're bringing together your mandated and non-mandated partners. So we call this the Denver Workforce Integration Network. And I want to read you the mission statement because 1, I wrote it, and 2, I just think it's just a really neat mission statement. So DWIN, our mission is to serve as an interconnected network of community partners who are committed to empowering Denver residents through meeting their educational and employment needs. These are the different subgroups that we actually have in DWIN. We have anywhere between 35 to 50 different partners on a phone call monthly to participate in our monthly meetings. And then throughout the month, there are different subgroups that actually meet as well too. So these are the different things that we are focusing on within our subgroups, the 50 and over job seekers. At one point in time, Denver was seeing 1/3 of our job seekers that was interacting within the workforce system was those folks who were 50 and over that were coming back into the workforce. And that is a large number. That's part of the reason why I did my dissertation, was because of that population of folks. Reentry citizens. That is another population as well too. that we have worked with the Department of Corrections, also Second Chance, community-based organizations, different organizations, to make sure those folks who are coming out of the justice system are able to reintegrate back into the workforce system with various different skills. So that is a subgroup that is working on that. Language and cultural barriers, and also New Americans. I want to talk about those two things. With that, one of the reasons why we have this in place is because, one, that is a priority of population that I can honestly say that we are actually underserved in. We do not do a great job. I'm just being very honest. That's a population that we have not done a great job in terms of serving that particular population. Part of the reason for that, it could be a number of different things. One, it could be that here you're inviting, refugees to come into, or new Americans, that's the new term now, new Americans, not refugees, new Americans, to come into a government building to receive services. Well, there's that fear of that government building that's already in place there. Number two, there could be some language and culture barriers as in place as well, in place there as well too. So when you have those different things at play, how do you provide a way and figure out a way to provide a way where new Americans can feel comfortable with participating in workforce services that they have a right to should have access to. So we've come up with subgroups to address these issues. We actually, Denver, our funder has a full-time person who's dedicated toward new Americans and integration back into the workforce system. So that is something that we're really passionate about as well too. And of course, we have our digital literacy subgroup. What we found is that during COVID, there were a lot of folks, it doesn't matter, in that age range, from any age, we found a lot of folks did not have basic digital literacy skills. So we've really pushed that up, again, along with the digital literacy certifications that are able to receive. We actually have training that is available for our job seekers to take advantage of basic computer skills. I've had a customer, one time I was working with a customer, I was teaching a class on computer basics, and I asked them to take their mouse and to click on a specific item on the screen. Well, what they did was they literally picked up the mouse and put it on the screen and thought that's how you clicked on it. So, and it's, although it may be kind of snickering a little bit, but it's kind of sad in one sense that adults to see adults that do not really have those basic digital literacy skills. But then also the last subgroup is our disability community of partners. And I mentioned that to you before about our DPN community. Again, more things to come with that particular position, but I can't wait to see all the exciting things that come along with that one. To the right side of your screen, we actually developed a virtual resource guide as well too. It is a very interactive resource guide where literally this is for our community partners. They can click on that access to workforce services. It takes them straight to Denver Workforce Services, access to unemployment, access to community resources. So if you literally click, this is an interactive PDF guide where you click on each one of these things, it'll take you to different just areas of this particular guide. And also we have an ongoing virtual hiring event as well too that happens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, this is all through our virtual resource guide. It is filled with contact information with regards to our mandated partners, their contact information, what kind of services they're providing right now. How do you connect with them? All kinds of different things. This group, this DWIN group, developed this so that way communication, again, can be done in such a way that is easy, quick, and efficient. Number one, this guide can be also delivered to the customers that they're working with through their community-based organizations. And then last but not least, when we talk about this, another area I wanted to show you as well too of what we created to maximize communication is that we decided to use Eckert's SharePoint site. And thank you so much, Roy, and thank you, Eckert, so much, and our partners and donors. This SharePoint site has done so much as far as things for our mandated and non-mandated partners. So with this, each of our partners are able to actually develop a page on the integration network where they can highlight and talk about their different services and different things that are going on with that. With this particular SharePoint site, it is by invite only, so it's not something where it's open to the public. So you have to be, invited by our one-stop manager or reach out to our one-stop manager to actually get access to it. But it talks about all the different things. It talks about everything that's going on within September, our featured events. These are all the different things that the Asian Pacific Development Center is doing, Denver Workforce Services is doing. I mean, just all kinds of useful information that's actually located on here. We also highlight different partners as well too. Community colleges, just all different things. Again, this is our new grant that we have with regards to TechP. So it talks about, hey, this is a new grant with regards to getting folks connected to IT technology. This is what it is. This is how you contact the person to get more information or to refer a person to this grant. And as I mentioned before about the resource guide, well, here it is. It's actually located on here. You can actually scroll down on here. You can print it out. You can do all kinds of cool things. And at the very end, you're able to click on these connection to EBSCO learning skills, Rescue My Resume, GCF Learn Free, all these different things that you're able to click on as a kind of a one-stop PDF guide. But this site right here is really improved so much with regards to also access to virtual workshops as well too. I forgot about that. This is our one-stop operations guide when it comes to serving our mandated and unmandated partners. And I want to encourage those folks who do have partners that you're working with, why not utilize the SharePoint site that Eckert has given to us? Eckert has his own SharePoint site, so that's really where I kind of got the idea from. Why not have that? Why not have that to make communication better and to make things a little bit more better and seamless and streamlined when it comes to servicing our partners? So that is it.
Sir, wow. I mean, you've really become a clearinghouse for your community on all of these needed resources. One thing that just kept coming out throughout our few minutes together, talk to me more about the TechP program. It just seems like to me training people in IT right now with so many people working from home seems like a hot thing to do. Talk to me about that and how accessible has it been for your clients?
Yeah, so the TechP program, TechP 1 actually served about 75 folks in that particular program, over a 4-year period of time. So we're talking about somewhere about 20 plus people or so per year. TechP 2.0 again allows us to expand IT careers, IT training. And I'm pretty sure with a lot of these different organizations, as some of you may be aware of, IT is very expensive. IT training. You're talking about training could be up to $20,000 sometimes. WA funds, unfortunately, does not allow us to do $20,000 per person for IT training. So it is exciting that we do have this in place. What this does, the TechP 2.0 allows us to pay for, again, training with regards to IT, but what it doesn't allow us to pay for is some things regarding some supportive services, such as computers and different things like that. We do have a partnership, or I should say Denver Workforce Services was able to purchase about 400 plus computers and Wi-Fi to provide some level of access or connectivity for our Denver job seekers. But that is done through the Denver Public Library through kind of like a checkout system. But there's I want to say there's probably about a 3-month wait on that with regards to trying to just check out a computer and also a Wi-Fi hotspot. So there is significantly a need for computers for some of our job seekers, especially as they continue on in their IT journey. Some of the regular computers that we do have in our homes, sometimes they just don't have the software or the speed or different things that they need to kind of make them successful with this. So that is certainly a need for us within Denver to have a place where, or a funder or something where we're able to get those computers and get those distributed out to our TechP job seekers.
Wow. Well, now the old fundraiser will twist some arms a bit. If you have a company out there, if just you as your family decided, you know what, we're going to help some of these job seekers that need the technology to continue their training, just the whole process of applying for a job. There's a real technology need here, and if you could help, Dr. Surgery could sure use it. And there's a way to do that. You can contact us. You can contact Sir directly. But for most parts, what folks do is we'll make a donation to Eckert Connects, and then we simply transfer that 100% in total to Denver Workforce Services. And powered by ECHO. So it's really easy to do. You know, I know as well, Scott, sir, that you've had young people that have applied for Success Award scholarships through ECHO Connect's program for Success Awards. Talk
Mhm.
about that and what that means to some of the people in your program.
Absolutely. So, with the Success Awards, it allows us to help pay off debt. Let's just say, and a lot of times it's training debt that's associated with some of our job seekers. As I mentioned before, WA doesn't cover everything a lot of times, and sometimes our job seekers are asked to maybe take out a loan, um, or either provide another way of financial support or funding to support a specific training. Just to give you an example, we actually had a gentleman. This is really a really interesting story of a gentleman who was in federal prison for quite some time, serving, I want to say, a 10-year sentence, a 10-year sentence, lost all kinds of wages. This person was actually working in the medical industry. Okay. And whatever happened, I don't want to go into details about his whole story about what happened, but the point of that is that when he got out, he was able to connect with Denver Workforce Services, powered by ECHO Connects. So what he decided to do, he wanted to become a CDL truck driver, which is pretty awesome. It's a very in-demand career field within Denver. That particular the CDL transportation industry is really huge. But within that, the school actually costs a certain amount of money, and then not to mention he had to pay back restitution fees to the federal government and whoever else he had to pay these fees to. Not to mention he was trying to get an apartment, just trying to make his life better after all that of what happened within um, his time of being incarcerated. So he actually owed quite a bit of money, I want to say about $4,000 to the CDL truck driving school. Again, WA was able to cover part of it, but still there was that other additional cost that was there. Not to mention he needed a little bit of assistance with rent as well too. So Denver Workforce Services helped him get a CDL position with actually with Domino's Pizza with their truck driving part of it. The CDL part of the drive those 18 wheelers. To give him a really nice job with that. But as we all know, sometimes the pay, rent is due, but your first paycheck might not come to 3 or 4 weeks
It's a
later.
transitional window that's got to
There,
happen. And
there's a transition window that has to happen, and the last thing you want is a person to feel discouraged or just feel like they can't do it. They come this far, but now they're discouraged because now they got to make rent and they don't get their paycheck to the first. It's hard to explain all this to the rent office. Hard to explain this to the CDL school where he got his certificate. It's hard to explain all this stuff, okay? Because sometimes people just really want their money. So we were able to do a success award or write up a success award, fill in an application for it, write up a success award for this particular gentleman. He was actually the first in the state of Colorado to actually receive this success award. And so as a result of that, he was awarded that. He was able to pay off his debt with the CDL school. And also we were able to provide at least 1 month of his rental assistance as well too. I've been in contact with him and we stay in contact. He's doing very, very well. I can say that. Very, very truly thankful for all the things that Eckert has done for him. So I just want to give a huge shout out for that. Right now, we're in the process of hopefully submitting another success award with a young lady who's been unemployed, or she's had some unemployment gaps here and there, but I think she's a single parent mother, and she's needing some assistance with training with regards to it's within the property management industry. So there's some things WA just doesn't pay for. We don't pay for everything. If it's not a high demand industry such as cosmetology, just want to use that one example. Although we think it's in demand, but our funder may not necessarily think so. There's some things WA.
that's the
Yeah.
important point, sir, is that, a lot of people, especially sometimes I talk with donors, supporters, corporate sponsors, and they say, well, you get these workforce grants.
Mhm.
You have a family foundation that has supported you in the past. What do you need my help for? And they don't realize that hey, when they make a gift to our Success Award Fund, 100% goes to the client. 100%.
That's
Uh,
correct.
our overhead, our salaries, all those kinds of things are covered by your grant. And so, nationally, when they make a donation, they're not paying for, for your program cost. Your funder's paying that.
No.
And so when they support the Success Award Scholarship Fund, and again, it just is not used exclusively for tuition. It is used for transitional cost. It can be any number of things. But when they help us underwrite one of these scholarships, it goes directly to the student and truly changes that person's life.
Absolutely. None of the money has gone to operational costs or anything like that. It is truly an investment back into the community, back into the folks that we're serving. Sure. And it's also, again, it's even on a partnership as well too. As I mentioned before, WA doesn't cover every single thing. Even our discretionary grants, as specifically, they don't cover everything. So there's always those group of people that just fall just outside of the guidelines of what can and can't be funded. So this is where the Eckert Success Awards will come in at to help support that. We try to make sure that, we want to make sure that, as it's, even though it's a scholarship, but it's also an investment back into that person. So we want to make sure that, there's been some kind of success shown in the past where, this person has been successful at whatever it may be. And also that this award, as I mentioned before, it goes directly to the participant. Nothing goes to operational overhead costs at all.
Yeah, I should point out, Dr. Green, that nationally, and we just finished up, we're getting ready to send out to all of our supporters nationwide our annual report. And nationally, when you look at not this specific program, but all 666 programs, and then what Eckert does in addition to that, in addition to those funded programs, um, and it's pretty amazing. 94% of every dollar that's given goes directly to our programs. Only 6% to administrative and fundraising costs. So, that's candidly 100 to 150% better than the national average. The national average is about 20% administrative and fundraising, and we're at 6. So I gotta brag about that. Our team's doing a wonderful job nationwide at controlling the cost and making sure that when a supporter steps up and wants to do something special to help change the life of some special person, that the money goes. Dr. Green, thank you so much. This has been just enlightening. I've learned so much about workforce programs, and I thought I already knew a lot about your program since I was in Denver, actually. But I learned a lot today. Thank you so much for being a teacher and a mentor to so many. And you're doing wonderful work. How can, if we've got another Eckert program leader out there, if we've got a company that wants to get involved, if we've got a potential donor that wants to help you, how can they reach you?
Yes, good question. So my email address is sgreen@eckert.org. That is probably the best way to reach out to me is via email. And then, of course, I would love to talk to you about, again, on-the-job training opportunities, just share with you just some really other things I have not talked about in this presentation about Denver Workforce Services. It is truly has been an amazing and amazing experience. I can honestly say last program year when it was just even within our workforce development board, so excited to really see all the things that Eckert has done within one program year. uh, and so again, if you have any questions or if you want to, again, talk to me about our programs and get connected with me, all of our donors, partners, businesses, again, email is probably the best way of contacting me. That is sgreen@eckert.org. And for those folks who are actually on the line who are interested in maybe looking at, as far as maybe doing some expanding your one-stop operation with regards to doing a SharePoint site like that, or having something very robust, again, please feel free to reach out to me. Our one-stop manager, myself, be more than happy to show you a little bit more details about how that SharePoint site works, and just provide you some technical assistance around it.
Wonderful. Well, I want to remind everyone, if you're a workforce leader out there, if you're a Job Corps leader out there, we want to interview you. We want to tell your story. We want our donors and funders to hear about the successes you're having, just like Dr. Sir Green again modeled for us how to do that today. We want to interview you as well. So please, you can email me. It's really easy, rojones@eckerd.org. And we'd love to have you on our broadcast. Sir, thank you for the time today. We are honored,
Thank you, Roy.
and, honored to have you as part of the Eckerd family.
Thank you so much, Roy. Thank you. And thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us today.